We want to talk about this podcast, who you have to become and what you have to do in order to live the life you want.
Exactly. We've only grown like about 10, 15 agents from there.
We started at 7, and now I think we're ending the year at 30, which is pretty incredible.
I used to be terrified of cold calling, and then I was like, you know what? What's the worst that they can do? Hang up on me?
You are the only person that is in control of your destiny. Nobody's going to do the work for you.
Work harder on yourself more than you work on your job. Hey guys, welcome to the Verdi Insurance Podcast. Welcome back. We are on episode 7. I think it is
It
right
might
now,
be 8.
right?
It might be 8.
Right? Okay. So welcome back, guys. I hope you guys been enjoying all the videos that we've been posting. Make sure that you guys always, like, subscribe, comment on all of our videos. All that helps us get some traction and push this podcast to people that actually really need to listen to this type of podcast. Whether you're an agent, you're a client, whatever it is. We want you to see this and be inspired by us. That's the most important thing, and
learn from it. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for forming part of the podcast. And we've been going for a little while now, but we firmly believe that 2026 will be the year of expansion. We have a special guest today. Her name is Edie. Don't ask about the name. I know she has a very unique name. This is Edie. She was one of our foster fails. But anyway, we want to talk about this podcast, who you have to become and what you have to do in order to live the life you want.
Exactly.
I think we want to end the year, being that this is our last podcast of 2025, on a good note. So rather than talking about technical terms, we wanted to more so talk about lifestyle terms and things that a person can implement in their life, whether you're a client or whether you're an agent who's watching this. A little bit of reflection on the year that we've had, the growth that we've had, and where we want to go next year.
Right. So I think, and let's start, I guess, with reflecting.
Yeah.
Looking back at this year and how far we've come, from the beginning of the year, we've only grown like about 10, 15 agents from there.
I would say about 20.
20? Okay.
Not all of them have stayed. Some have came through the door and left. It is what it is. It's part of the game. It's a numbers game. But yeah, firmly believing it from where we started at 7, and now I think we're ending the year at 30,
right? Which
is pretty incredible. We do have a P&C director now, so somebody who is officially in charge of all of our property and casualty business. Mm-hmm. And just really, I think we deserve like a celebration for our growth.
Yeah. And I think, and also, we've had a lot of growth this year, a lot of ups and downs. It's part of the business. In this industry, if you're not an agent, if you are stuck, you feel complacent, or where you're not growing, that's where like you kind of feel like, all right, am I really fit for this type of work, for this line of work? Because there's a lot of people that think like that, mm-hmm. I think in this industry, it's always good to reflect, but also you also have to be very consistent. In this game, the longer that you are in this business, the more money that you're going to make.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Whether you do life insurance only, whether you sell supplement, whether you do Medicare, the longer that you do it, the more money you're going to make.
Right.
And what we always tell all our agents, in the beginning, it might be hard, but choose your hard. Would you rather struggle and not put in the work that you should be doing, or put in the work and there's two different types of struggles, right?
Yeah.
You're either struggling, financially, to pay bills, or to find leads, or you're calling every single day, you're going out to the streets, you're making connections, and it's a lot of work. Yes, in the beginning, but after a while, it pays off. It pays off. How many times now your phone doesn't stop blowing up all day?
Yeah.
And mine too.
But it took a while to get to that point.
But it took a while, exactly.
And that's part of the process.
That's what 5-6 years making.
Right. And we've always told our new agents that, like, yes, you want to be where I am, but I had to be where you are to be where I am now.
Right.
Like, I had to go through that rough phase where I used to pass out flyers in front of Walmart, mm-hmm. where I used to walk around the mall and pass out my business cards to people, where I used to put my business cards on people's cars and go, not door knocking. I never went to knock on doors because honestly that kind of scared me a little bit and made me uncomfortable. But I went to knock on businesses. I went to go what we call canvassing, enter businesses, small businesses, introduce myself, do like a area campaign. I'm in the area. I wanted to see if I can help. And I had to go through that. Do I do that now? No. because luckily I don't need to anymore. My business is already taken off. But to get to where I am now, I had to do all of that.
Right.
And there
We
are a
all
lot
went
of
through that.
agents.
We all went through that.
We all went
And
through
and
that.
and I really think that's like the stepping stone that you need to do in order for you to actually grow and get out of your comfort zone. Something that I always tell everyone, you know, especially when I first started, I was very hard on myself. I was very timid. You could ask Natalie. I would show up to a place, same thing, do some canvassing by myself, and I would stay in my car. I would just sit there and not do anything about it. And it wasn't about like a few months into this, and I was like, look, if I really want to make a difference, if I really, really want to change my life, and I actually, you know, want to succeed in this business, I gotta do whatever I can to make my goals happen. You know, if I don't do it now, then I'm just gonna have to go back to the same job that I was at before with my head down. And you know,
Yeah.
I was honestly scared.
Do the
I
walk of
didn't-
shame.
Do the walk of shame, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. It was like, no, forget that.
That
I'm
was
not doing
mine
that.
too. That was mine when it really clicked for me. Like, if I don't give this my all, I'm gonna have to do the walk of shame and go back and say that I failed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I used to look at the people around me and I used to see them succeeding, and I'm like, if they could do it, why can't I? You know, there's nothing special. Like, what? It's just a matter of applying yourself, leaning into what's uncomfortable, doing what's scary until it becomes not scary anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
And it becomes
That's what I
second
do.
nature.
And it becomes second nature.
I used to be terrified of cold calling, and then I was like, you know what?
Cold calling
What's
now
the
looks
worst?
easy
What's the
because-
worst that they can do? Hang up on me? You know, it is what it is. That's just part of the game. And then, so, you know, something that we've always taught, like our mentors have always taught us, was, you know, go out and find that no. You know, find as many objections as possible.
Because that's gonna
And
fine tune you.
that's gonna fine tune you. You're gonna understand what to say on the right times and how to say it, how to deliver it. That's the most important thing. And you know, by the time that you know it, you're already a pro in handling objections, and you're not scared to go and try to find that no, because eventually the yes is gonna come.
Right.
You know.
In the beginning, especially with sales, you're scared. You're scared of rejection. Rejection is scary. Rejection hurts. Whether you're rejected by a significant other, you're rejected by a job, you're rejected by a client that you're trying to close. Nobody likes rejection. Like, nobody likes it. It's scary. So when you go out there enough times, that you're rejected enough times, you're like, whatever, it is what it is. It becomes like you're numb to it. Oh, you said no, that's fine. Next client, like the next one's going to say yes.
Right.
So it's all a matter of just, like Louis said, you go out there enough times, you get enough no's until you get a yes. And then you start realizing, like, each and every time it's going to be, that yes is going to become easier because you're going to get better at, oh, they have a rebuttal? Well, they have an objection, I have a rebuttal. They have another objection, I have another rebuttal. Like, you're going to have the answers already prepared in your mind. Like, oh, I've heard this one before. I've heard this objection before. So it becomes easy instead of, you know, I remember the first time somebody would, or the first few times somebody would give me an objection, I would just like stick my tail between my legs and kind of just like, okay, all right, that's fine. And I would like lose the client. And a client that I could have perfectly possibly closed, but most of the times because lack of preparation, lack of knowledge, you're new, you're scared. It's normal. But there are so many agents that want to skip that and they want to jump from, you know, they want to jump from crawling to running, but they're forgetting the part where they have to walk first. You got to walk first. You got to learn the steps. And it's just a matter of patience, discipline, and kicking yourself in the butt.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You got to be hard on yourself. You got to be hard on yourself because remember, at the end of the day, now obviously every agency runs their agency however they want. But at least when you're an independent broker, you are your own boss. We're gonna tell you, we're gonna lead you and explain to you what you should be doing.
Give you
but at
the
the end of the day,
tools.
if you don't hold yourself accountable, you're not disciplined. It's
Right.
you can't blame anyone else but yourself.
Right.
It's that very simple. It's that
Like,
that
if you
simple.
know that you're supposed to be doing the calls, but I'm going to go wash dishes and do laundry instead because that's more important, you're not being disciplined. You're looking for things to procrastinate.
Right.
And being self-aware and realizing that, like, I should be doing what I should be doing, or like, I should be doing what I need to be doing. Let me kick myself in my butt and go do what I should be doing. Like, that accountability right there is what separates the average from the people that actually succeed. And too many times we see people fail or give up because, oh, it's too hard.
Well, nothing good in this world is easy.
Yeah, you know what also was hard?
Nothing worth having.
Going back to clock into a 9 to 5, sitting in traffic for an hour on your way there and an hour on your way home, having to ask for permission to go pee, having to ask for permission to go take paid time off. Like, that's hard. To me, that's hard. If you told me that I had to restart this business all over again and have to go cold calling and all that stuff, I'd do it 100 times over. Because the freedom that this business has allowed us was worth all
the sacrifice.
what was it? 6-7 months of like pure discipline and dedication before your phone actually started ringing with like, hey, so and so referred me, hey, such and such, I got your number from this person and I need your services. Mm-hmm. It really does take 6 to 7 months, but people want to skip that and they want that from month one.
No, and you can get it faster. It's all about just going out there and making those connections. I mean, we have doctors' offices that we make connections with, and now that's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, we have people inside the insurance companies, you know, the managers or whatever it is, where they send us business.
Right.
They're sending us other clinics that
We've literally
need help.
had a doctor's office say, hey, I need an agent to come into the office. And we've given that opportunity to the agents, and they're like, well, it's too far.
You know, it is what it is. You know,
it's the person who really wants it, or they don't.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
what sacrifice are you willing to make? You
Exactly.
know?
And I think what we wanted to say, you know, going into the following year, is that if you want to succeed in this industry, you have to be consistent. No matter what, you have to be the consistent, disciplined, and, you know, like Natalie said, kick your butt. Kick your butt whenever you feel like, if you have to really recognize where you're going wrong. You know, like if you see yourself straggling off doing something else, you have to stop yourself and say, hey, look, I shouldn't be doing this. I'll get to it when I can. But right now, these few hours that we have throughout the day, I gotta put in the work. Yeah. And there's people out there that, you know, they don't work Monday through Friday. They only work Saturday and Sunday as insurance agents.
Yep.
And because obviously, you know, a lot of people are home Saturday and Sunday, but they make their calls on Saturday and Sunday. That's when they work. Mm-hmm. So imagine if those people that only work two days a week are successful. Imagine you that if you decided to work from Monday to Saturday, you know, consistently. Right. I'm not saying you know, a set schedule 9 to 5, but just at the end of the day, this doesn't feel like work.
Right.
This is your own business.
And it's also fulfilling, you know, helping the clients, educating them, finding them the right plan for them for the right budget, and there's clients that turn into family. Yeah. You know, it's really fulfilling.
I mean, I have 2 clients that came to our wedding.
That's true. You know, and there's something that's been, I've been trying to figure out the right words to say it, but you're only going to excuse yourself enough times that you allow yourself to excuse yourself. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you continue to say, oh, well, it's okay. Well, I didn't make the calls today, it's okay. I didn't do what I had to do today, but it's okay. Like, you're just going to continue to excuse yourself.
You gotta
10 years, 15
yourself.
years have gone by and you're still excusing yourself. Like, hasta cuando? Like, until when? So that I like to call it like a switch that flips, or like a plug that plugs. Like, it finally clicks in your brain that, like, you are the only person that is in control of your destiny. Nobody's going to do the work for you. The clients are not going to fall out of the sky. Like, you have to go make a brand out of yourself. And this kind of goes for whatever business that you're in. You have to go make a brand for yourself. Mm-hmm. No one's going to do the branding for you unless you have a bunch of capital to do up front. But if you're starting any business like usual, which is from zero, from scratch, you got to go make a name for yourself. We have something that's called the 6-foot rule, which is pretty common nowadays. And we tell all of our new agents that everyone around you has to know what you do. Everyone around you within 6 feet needs to know what you do. Because if they don't know what you do, how are they going to know that you sell XYZ?
Exactly.
How are they going to come to you they can't assume. You know, they're not going to assume that Louis works in insurance unless Louis tells them. And what do we always tell them? If they don't want to abruptly say what they do,
ask them first.
Ask them first. Mm-hmm. Ask the client first, or ask anybody, what do you do for work?
And that can be literally like at whatever. I mean, I've done it. You can ask Natalie. I've done it at a get together. Like, I asked the guy, hey, what do you do for work? Oh, I think it was a trader. And he's like, and he automatically, right after, he just asked me.
People are always going to ask you
always
back.
Automatically ask
you
me.
Ask them first.
I left that get together with a client.
Yeah, literally.
Literally,
like,
he's still my client to this day.
you ask the person. It's a mental trick, because of course people like to talk about themselves, but they also like to compare. Like, low key, people like to compare. So you ask them first, what do you do for work? they're going to tell you, and then in return, they're going to ask you, like, what do you do for work? So that gives you the open door to let people know what you do without being so pushy and without being like, hey, everyone, I'm an insurance agent, or hey, everyone, I sell cars, or I sell this and that. So that's a mental trick. I hope you guys jot that one down and start applying it, because it's a good one.
And I think, you know, a lot of everyone else, like, you know, whether if you're an agent, you should definitely schedule your weeks. You know, we used to do what we typically do Saturdays, where we schedule our weeks. And all right, this, you know, Monday we have our team meeting, Tuesday we have a training, Wednesday we have cold calling, Thursday we have this. But as an agent, if you're independent, you're working by yourself, you need to set aside specific times and dates to what you're gonna do during that time period, right? So if you're gonna be cold calling, you know, you're not gonna call in the middle of the day, because typically most people are working, you know, unless you buy leads and stuff like that, that's a different story. But you know, typically people are working from, you know, 9 to 5. So you would say, okay, I'm going to start calling from 4 to 7, because some people leave early or whatever the case may be. But from 4 to 7, 4 to 8, I'm going to call, you know, as many people as possible.
And that's working with intention.
That's working with intention, exactly.
Just waking up and saying, well,
you don't want to be in this business like you wake up today, okay, I feel like calling today.
Yeah.
Or I feel like going canvassing today. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to have some sort of structure.
Because that's working off feelings, that's working off motivation, and feelings and motivation are fleeting.
They only last for a certain amount of time.
Literally.
Once you get the fifth no, you're like,
all right, well, okay, I'm going to go wash the dishes.
Clearly not working for me. So, you know, and that's something that I can relate to, because in the beginning I was like that. I would call like 5 people, and I was like, no, everyone. I remember I used to say, this list is terrible. I would call it. I'm like, this list is terrible. And what am I automatically saying? That all these people are going to tell me no. I'm literally just telling myself that, and it was a mind game that I would tell myself. And
you're already shutting yourself down, and you've only called 5 people.
Yeah, I think it was like after my mentor at the time, he was like, if you keep saying that, everyone else is going to say no. Yeah. So don't say that's a bad list. Keep calling and get through it, you know? And then, you know, it wasn't until, like, you know, obviously you have to call more. The more you call, the more no's you get. So
it's a numbers game.
You get to it, right?
You call 100 people, the probability of you closing 1 or 2 is pretty small.
Off of that list, then I got a sale.
Yeah.
You know,
but people will call, like, you know, 20 people, and they're like, well, I didn't get any clients, and it's like, well, you called 20 people. Go out and talk to 20 people right now and see if you're going to close anyone.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially over a cold call.
Yeah.
But it's just part of the business. Yeah. Part of the business.
And I think like I said, if you're consistent enough, once you know, some people use a script, some people don't. But if you have a script like what we use, I don't even have to look at the paper anymore, like automatically. And the good thing, the best thing about it is that we have our agent Michael, that he started with us. When he first started with us, I gave him a list. I told him, hey, look, call all these people. You know, it was a random list from like 2022 that we had got it. I told him, call these people and call as many as possible. And I want you to get as many no's as possible. And then, you know, just practice it. He practiced the script, called. I think he called like 200 people and 300 people in one day. And, you know, after that day, he was like, I did it so much with him that he became so fluent in his script that now when he goes out and he speaks to someone in person, he knows exactly what he has to say, which is what we always tell everyone. It builds resilience, number one, and then you have a structure, a backbone that once you're canvassing with these people, like a small business or you know, speaking to someone random out in the street, you know what to ask them. So like, oh yeah, you know, my name is Louis. I'm an insurance agent. I'm in here in the area. It's the same thing that you would say cold calling. Hi, my name is Louis. I'm an insurance agent here in the area. I'm calling because, you know, XYZ about health insurance you already have for this year. You know, and then it leads into training. So the more that you do it, the easier it comes to flow out of you, and you automatically, everything else just becomes easier. You know, you want to memorize your presentation. You want to memorize your script. You know,
memorize those objections.
Always have a backbone. You can't just be tirar flecha. You know, like
I don't know how to say tirar flecha in English, but throwing blanks.
Shooting blanks.
You can't be throwing blanks and hope that you're gonna land somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to have direction, intention, and sobre todo, overall envision where you want to be, and that person that you want to be, or that person that has the things you want to have, what are they doing? You know, are they pushing things off? Are they looking for excuses? Are they making excuses for themselves? Are they cutting themselves short? Are they stopping after the 5th call? Like, what are they doing? So I think overall is just having that direction and that clarity and that maturity overall, and self-awareness to, again, call yourself out if you're not doing what you need to be doing.
Right.
Have the self-awareness to bring yourself back to earth, like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I got to go do what I'm supposed to be doing. And like we said earlier, kick yourself in the butt until you literally can't anymore.
And something that I remember that Jim Rohn said one time, he says, work harder on yourself than on your job. You know, and that has stuck with me for a long time, because I remember when we first read the 12 Pillars. 12 Pillars is a really good book. You know, if you haven't read it, that's something that I think everyone should read at least once in their life. It's a very short book, but you know, work harder on yourself more than you work on your job.
Right.
Because the more that you work on yourself, the harder that you are on yourself, right? You know, being consistent, being disciplined, reading books, anything like that. That makes you the type of person that you want to be. And, you know, everybody has their own definition of success, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think that as far as insurance agents go, the more that you work on yourself, the more, I would say, longer that you are going to be in this industry. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you're still the same person that you were when you first started, where you are like trying to do everything, and you get to that certain point where you know that you should be delegating, or you should be, you know, trying to grow, but you're not because you're too scared to take the next step. Yeah. I think everyone should you know, go to personal growth first. Yeah, or at least some point in their career.
Because nobody's perfect. We all have deficiencies, and it's being aware of those deficiencies. Where are you lacking? So that way you can work on those areas and become better, not just for yourself, but for your business, for your sales, for your family, for your significant others. It's becoming a better human being overall.
And if you ask me, back when we first started, me and Natalie are not the same person that we were, you know, 5-6 years ago than we are today. You know, I
wouldn't even recognize. Yeah. If I sat down with my 25-year-old self, I would not recognize.
It would laugh at you.
I would literally probably. We'd laugh at each other. We'd laugh at each other and just be like, you know, who was that person?
Yeah, same. What were they going through? Like, why? I would ask myself, like, why are you so scared?
Yeah,
you know,
literally.
I remember, like, when I first started, like, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, like, we live a life that we're so sheltered, or you're so scared to do something, and you know, when you start doing these things, and it just becomes like second nature, and you kind of look back and you're like,
your brain is built for survival. Mm-hmm. Your brain is built for survival, and it's always going to go back to what is easy. It's always going to retract back to its comfort zone. So if you want to see real change and you want to see real growth, it's leaning into that uncomfortable, leaning into what's not easy, and testing your limits. Because the more you test your limits, the bigger your limits get.
Right.
But if you stay within that shell, you're literally going to stay within your 4 walls, within your barrier, because you were too scared to break down those walls and see what was behind them.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we can end it here. I think we're a little over time. But
it's fine. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and we hope you guys enjoy this video and this episode. We look forward to making the next one. And if you guys have any topics that you want us to go over, make sure that you guys leave it in the comments. You know, always like and share with family, friends, clients, agents. You know, if you guys ever need anything, that's what we're here for. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Happy holidays.
See you guys.